Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lowe, JT, and friends. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. What you want to talk about? Kitchen talk, conversations that cook. Kitchen talk, Lisa, Lowe, JT, and friends.
Lisa, Lorraine, JT, and friends. Y'all ready to cook up some conversation? Come on.
Kitchen talk.
Let's talk.
Well. Hey.
I was jamming to y'all song.
Oh, thank you. I know we love it. It's so catchy. It's so catchy. Yes. Love it. Welcome to Kitchen Talk, CTC.
Conversations that cook.
That cook, yes. We be cooking them up. Oh my God, I'm so excited to see you guys another week. JT and friends, thank y'all for hanging out with me again. Tonight we have two special guests.
Special guests.
Yes, two special guests.
Both of them.
I know, right? So I'm super excited about this. So this is my EP forever, like my forever EP. Oh, Pastor Danny Whitfield is hanging out with us. Hey!
Glad to be here. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. Thank you for being in your kitchen. And we have.
I know how to follow directions.
What'd you say?
I know how to follow directions.
See, that's what you get when you get an educator. That's what I'm talking about. And Joketra Horne is here with us. Oh my goodness! Like I'm always trying to figure out. Like I know where we know each other from, but it's like our paths have crossed in a couple of different ways. So we're both baby rattlers, is that right? That's
Are you
right,
speaking to me?
Joketra, yeah.
I'm a Seminole. I'm a wannabe rattler.
No. What high school did you go to?
Go Gators.
I'm from Pensacola, but I came to Tallahassee in '89.
It's Girl Scouts.
Yes, I used to work for Girl
I
Scouts.
was trying to tell somebody that it was Girl Scouts. They was like, no, she went to FAMU High. I was like, no, it's Girl Scouts.
It's on my honor. That's it.
It's Girl Scouts.
Lifetime member, Girl Scout. Woohoo!
I remember. I kept saying, no, it's not FAMU High. It's Girl Scouts.
Well, I think everybody in Tallahassee know that I'm a wannabe rattler because I stayed over on FAMU's campus probably more than Florida State's campus. And thank the Lord I graduated. But thank you guys for having me.
Be like that sometimes.
Ain't nothing like it. Ain't nothing like them rattlers, I'm trying to tell you. Yes. So, Pastor Danny Whitfield does a Marriage Works. Is it Marriage Works? I think.
Marriage takes work.
Marriage takes work.
Amen.
Him and his lovely wife. They have it's a radio show now, right?
Every Thursday at 4:45, 95.3.
Yes. Very cool.
What type of work?
Remember that.
What'd you say, France?
I said, what type of work?
What type of work? Just work. Hard work. 365 days a week, 24/7.
No days off.
I will say a lot of things. Because what the word says, faith without works is dead.
So you got to work it. You got to work it.
You got to work it. And Joketra does Single in the City, where kings meet queens.
Yes, I do that along with Nicole Everett and our dating coach, Nicholas Rains. And we do that. We have we started out meeting at Two-Step Tuesdays and Thursdays pre-COVID. And then once the pandemic hit, we went to Facebook Live. So we do those every other Tuesday at 8:30.
And it's a great show.
Thank you. Thank you.
Great show.
It is. It is. I've caught 1 or 2 episodes. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
The other night we had a rattler, comedian Mike, and he invited 2 of his comedians out of Atlanta, Georgia. And I tell you, those ladies were so wow. You hear me? It was good, but they were very transparent. And it was good to have comedians because comedians are able to say a lot of things that we want to say.
Right.
They're able to say it and make light of it. You know, right. You're laughing, but you're like, she's talking about me. Oh my God, that applies.
They definitely get a pass. They definitely get a pass. So just before we get started, because I mean, this is the month of love, so we do want to talk about that. But we also are choosing to show some love to our Black businesses this month through on our Kitchen Talk social media and our shows. And so the first one up for tonight is Running Buzz Bartending. So this is like so cool, guys. I don't know if you've heard of it. This was my first time hearing about it. So it's like a mobile bartending. It's like they come to you, they come to your parties. It's like a catering service for drinks. Isn't that like so neat?
That is neat. Look, and Pastor, they only serve it, you know, they just serving water mixed with a little bit of wine.
Rev know about that. Don't.
It's all good. All good.
They do. So when I was, we used to have this housing director, and when we would have our housing Christmas party, he had two punch bowls. Mm-hmm. One was leaded and one was unleaded. So they do leaded and unleaded drinks.
That's a good.
Hey, Lisa, which bowl was you in?
Unleaded.
There you go.
Yeah. Tell us anything on here.
Yeah.
That was pre-electric slide.
Right. Yeah, I do unleaded. Because everybody don't need to know everything about you.
Hello.
Say that.
Everybody ain't got to know everything about you, but it ain't nothing wrong with having a little fun every now and then. You got to be like Pops Williams. Have a little taste every now and then, just a little taste.
No, you are absolutely right, JT. It is nothing wrong, but I choose who I have a little fun with.
Right.
That's good.
That is a great service, especially when you're doing a party. You don't want to be, the one kind of doing everything. This gives, you a chance to kind of enjoy your guests while they do all of the heavy lifting. So, it's just a different take in catering.
It is. It's so cool. When I got it, I was like, oh, wow. So we've been advertising all month. So if you're watching us and you have a business, a Black-owned business, hit us up at kitchentalkctc@gmail.com, and we will definitely shout you out this month, because this is what we're doing for the month of love, is showing love to Black businesses. So, all right, now let's get into it. What's love got to do with it? How about that? Let's start right
what does it got to do with
it? Obviously, I didn't care.
It has everything to do with it.
Everything.
Yes.
Because we all know, look, and Pastor, I know you're going to jump in, but we all know that if you love God, God is love. So you should definitely display love, but it has everything to do with it.
That's right. It's the sheer definition of God's love for us. unconditionally, that agape love that he shows for us. So we try to do that, to share that with others, especially the one we love.
So with from a marriage point of view,
Mm-hmm.
is love the central theme?
That's a good question.
That's very good. That's very
That
good.
is.
Love is, let's say that. Let's say our foundation for marriage. First of all, is God. That's and so our walls are built up, and love is in every room. It's something I look at love like this, and especially love with couples. When we buy a new car, we have a maintenance plan. And so in our marriages, there are certain moments that we need to do maintenance checks. First of all, we make sure that the needle gauge, that we don't run out of gas. How we start is how we finish. So we have to take those periodic checks when we make those maintenance checks to make sure the oil is changed. To make sure, sometimes we have to put it on the diagnostic machine to make sure if there is something going wrong, that we know how to fix it and what we need to do to fix it. So it's something that's continuous. Like I said, 24/7, 365. You got to always, if you look at your dashboard, you got so many things on there that we got to check. And one of those lights, if the engine light comes on, we're in trouble. So we have to make sure that we're always constantly managing and checking our gauges of our love for each other. That it's continuous, it's ever flowing, it never stops, even in the midst of conflict.
That is so
like
true.
That's good. That's good stuff. You know, I think about when you say is love the center, I think about love where it says love covers a multitude of things. And I think about 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8, when you talk about love being patient, love being kind, not being jealous. I think that if you have the basis of love, I think that in a marriage, because I've been married before, and I do know how that made the difference, that when you love someone, you know, you're more considerate of certain things and you just don't quickly run from, you know, the relationship. So when it talks about covering a multitude of things, it covers all those things that the good pastor said. So I think God is always the center, but when we speak about love, you know, he is a part of that. So in essence,
we are a reflection of that love.
Right.
So in our singleness, for those that are single, how do you think, Joketra, how do you think we weigh that in, the love factor? Like, where do we put that if we aren't there yet? Like, are we just searching for that? Is that the first thing we're searching for?
Oh, well, I think first you have to understand, you know, God, and then you have to also understand yourself. And I think that if you really and truly understand yourself and love yourself, then that's it. You know, I think it'll be easy for you to ward off, you know, any of those spirits because you have that spirit of discernment. But I think that it starts with us. And so from a woman's aspect, then it really doesn't necessarily have to be a search because then the man will find you. You know, you're just going to be prepared and available and ready when he comes, when he's out there looking for you to be found.
So what, we just supposed to sit around and wait to be found?
No, you definitely don't need to sit down and wait because he can't find you if you just sitting down waiting. You know, there are things that you can do. I think that there are things that you can do to put yourself in a position to be, you know, I don't want to say found, like, oh, you lost, so you have to be found. But I think that noticeable that you could be attractive towards men because how you carry yourself, you know, that makes all the difference in the world. You know, how you represent yourself, the way you speak, you know, the way you act, you know, the way you dress, you know, the way you talk. those type things. So no, definitely don't sit down. Girl, get yourself in shape. Go do what you got to do you. You'll get recognized.
So that you can live by the scripture, he who findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So I'm making myself available. I'm out there. They like the way I walk. They like the way I talk. They like everything about me. So I'm putting myself out there. Not advertising, but it's just something about how I carry myself that makes that man draw to me.
It is kind of advertising, though. I mean, come on.
Well, but
you got to advertise the good things.
Yeah, I was gonna say all good things advertised. That's how they get their brand. It's called branding.
There you go.
You got to brand yourself.
Listen, if I don't know you for sale, I can't buy it. Right?
There you go.
If you're available, I can't pick you up. I got to know that you are on the market so that I can go ahead and put in the work.
You're not showing that you're thirsty. You know what I mean?
Right.
We're gonna use that word. You're not showing that you're thirsty. They'll know that you're available.
Okay. All right. That's good.
I get that. And the reason and I asked that question, I mean, since we right here with the preacher.
The good pastor, Reverend Good Doctor.
I think about the story of Ruth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
She had Naomi. Naomi found her husband and sent Ruth to the husband. And that's when I hear about, you need to be found. Don't be looking. Don't be searching. No, where is my Naomi to point out the husband so she could send me and tell me what to do? And she went and did what Naomi told her to do. And that's how the Boaz was recognized by Naomi.
That's correct.
By the elder.
But
I think sometimes it's like we need to take another look at this single thing and to me, stop telling women don't participate in it. You know what I mean? Just sit back and wait to be found.
That's what I was going to say. Ruth still had to do her part, right? If she did not follow what Naomi told her to do, she was not going to meet Boaz. So you still got to do your part as, everybody pretty much said on here in order to be found. If you just hide under a rock, well, he's going to find me. He's going to find me. You probably would never meet that potential person. So you got to put yourself out there too.
Yeah,
but
I agree.
Yeah. Definitely.
I have a question in terms of, do you guys think that you need love in order for the relationship to work? Like there are people who've been in marriages for 40 years, 50 years, and they're still together, but I guess they got through their ups and downs without love being the central component. What's your thoughts on that?
So in essence,
I'll let him go.
And so in essence, you're really just cohabitating.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's like, as I said before, love takes nurturing. You have to keep feeding it. If you don't feed it, sometimes you're distracted by those things, your job, those other things, and they take you in other directions. But you have to keep nurturing that thing every day. If you don't, guess what? At 40 years, I'm 40 years in the marriage. When my kids left the nest, if you don't nurture, you look at each other and say, excuse me, who are you?
And I think that happens a lot.
That's right.
That's right. That's right.
I think it's interesting because since we've been in the pandemic, I have been hearing a lot of, let's pray for marriages. Let's pray for married people. Let's pray for marriages. As if to say, y'all not used to being together and now y'all got problems. Y'all got to spend so much time together. Right. All we praying for is husbands and wives. Wives, be nice to your husband. What do you mean? Y'all wasn't doing that pre-pandemic?
Right.
And so my
And
question to that is, go ahead, EP.
So what had happened was during that time when we had to look at each other every day and be around each other every day. That was something that, usually a man would come home and he go his way and she go her way. But that gets old after a while. And we have to learn, we have to come to grips that, hey, we're in this thing together. We have to, we start doing some things that we had not been doing sometimes, like sitting, watching a movie together. You know what I'm saying? Or just sitting having casual conversation where we begin to find each other again because we got lost in other things. Now we have to. We can't go out like we want to. We can't go to the restaurants like we have to stare each other in the face and say, hey, what's going on with you? And what's going on with you? So we have to
share next. Doc is the and same thing with the Joketra. You both kind of say you got to put in the work. You got to put in the work. But I believe in putting things like making things simple for people to understand. When you say work, what is that work? What is the actual work that you got to do? You gave a good one in terms of the movie nights, right? What other works do we have to do, or should couples do, in order to stay together and build that love?
Well, first of all, you got to look at you all. We all come from different families of origin. Mm-hmm. All of us had a different way of upbringing, a different ways as how we saw love different from our parents. She have been in a relationship where there was mom and dad. I came from a relationship where there was just a mother. So I didn't know what love was until I got into a relationship. My wife came from a relationship where there was mom and dad. Mm. And so we'll take the time to learn each other. Mm-hmm. Guess what? We have to learn our love language. All of us have a love language. Mm-hmm. And we need to learn what that is. My love language is I like to just be in your presence. Or her love language may be I like holding hands. Whatever that person's love language is, when you get into a relationship, you need to find it. And whatever it is, stay with it. Yeah. If I love to be held, that's my love language. I need you to hold me.
Yeah.
But there's people who they know their language, but they don't project or help the other person's language. So in essence, I know that this is my love language and I know your love language, but I want to love you in my love language, not your love language.
Yeah, that's hard.
So it's really, like you said, getting to know that person as much as you can so that you're loving them on their level. But again, what is that word?
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Hold on. Just before we go, let me do another one. Then I'm gonna come to you, Joketra. We're gonna give another shout out at this time to. We're showing love this month to all of our Black businesses. So this one is Me and My Reflection, and it is she does T-shirts, just about promoting self and not comparing yourself to other folks. So she does a lot of interesting things. You can visit her website. Just a lot of positive and self-love. And again, getting to know oneself so you can be, that better person. So the better you, not the better France, not the better Joketra, the better you, evolving into who you're supposed to be. So shout out to Miss Holmes with Me and My Reflection, Me versus My Reflection. So again, if you would like for us to show you some love, hit us up at kitchentalkctc@gmail.com. We are showing love to our Black businesses all month long. And so right now, this conversation, we are talking about love from the perspective of marriage and singleness. We just got into kind of a what's love got to do with it kind of thing, and it's taking us. Y'all know how it's sizzle in the kitchen, so
It's sizzling with no pots and pans.
Make it hot.
I want to really emphasize this because it's Valentine's Day and people about to put in some work.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
What kind of work you talking about?
That's what I'm trying to find out.
Some of that work, the delayed work that they have been doing what they need to do before now.
Mm-hmm.
So it's delayed. So I'm playing catch up. So when I should have been putting in the love all from beginning of the year to now, I'm waiting to February 14th to put it in. Johnny come late. What happened? What happened to this yesterday? What happened to this the day before yesterday? Put your time in.
Yeah.
My sister said earlier, faith without works is dead. I got to put some actions. I need to show something.
Yep.
So if I'm in love with you, I need to show some sign.
That's right. It's an action. Joketra.
Look, I don't even know where to start, but even just to go with what you were saying, I know our dating coach, Nick, the other day, he made a good comparison. He said that marriage is basically like the homework. You know, when you have problems in your marriage, it's kind of like you didn't do the homework that you should have done while you were dating, because some of those signs, they were already there. You just ignored them. But France, to go back to your original question, when you talked about love and do a person have to love them, in order for the relationship, I guess, to work. And I do think that love has to be the foundation, especially when you do understand the meaning of love. And I think that when you do love a person, like I was saying, it's you'll think about things before you just want to up and leave. So when that happens, when those couples, like the pastor said, have been married for 40 some years and their kids leave and they're like, okay, it's time to go. Yes, they are just basically cohabitating and they were just staying there for the kids. But the work part, when you talk about the work, I think it's important for you to have checkups. It's okay to go to counseling, for couples to go to counseling, every now and then and check in, because sometimes when you're in a relationship, one person might outgrow the other person, so you need to have checkups to make sure, okay, baby, what's going on? I'm here. How does this make you feel? You have to be open to communicate and transparent. When you have an issue, you can't wait and address that issue a month down the line. You have to go ahead and address that. So I think that it's a constant work. It's a daily work, especially if you do have kids.
And it doesn't begin just at marriage, right? So in your singleness, there is work to be done that leads up to whatever the I love you is, or building the relationship, right? So what I'm thinking is, my next question is love enough?
Well, nowadays it ain't.
Well, the question is, what are you defining as that love?
There may have been a time when you would think that love is enough, but because of the world that we live in, unfortunately, there are so many things compounded with that. And I think that that's why people are so quick to leave, because love just isn't enough, because they think, I can move on to the next finest, person with more money, so. And I would say no for right now, only because of the world that we live in.
I think the way, like you said, the way the world is now, our grandparents, I know my grandparents, for 40 something years, they stuck everything out. It wasn't no leaving. My grandma might cuss my grandfather out a few times, but he already knew what it was. They loved each other, but everybody stuck everything out back in the day. And I just feel like it's so many, maybe things on TV, maybe some of the TV shows and everything that people watch, that they put a lot of things in people's heads, in couples' heads or whatever. And it's like, okay, like you said, money. all right, he ain't got enough money. I'm just gonna go ahead and move on to the next. Well, she ain't got this. She need to have plastic surgery on that and all this type of stuff. I mean, so let me go on there and go buy, you know, like.
Oh God, JT.
Man, dude, like, am I
He's
lying?
right.
No,
No,
you're right. Absolutely.
He's right though. I think that we do associate love with things. You know what I mean? You know, things got to be going right in order for us to feel like, oh, he loved me, or if he buy me, you know, this Louis Vuitton purse, or you know, oh, he bought me this car. We look at love differently from how, like he said, our parents or grandparents did, or even the basics of. I don't think that people really understand what love is, because when you do talk about 1 Corinthians 13, 4 and 8, people don't love is patient, love is kind, huh? I got to be kind to him. He just, you know, cheated on me. You know what I mean? So I think that people don't understand that. So that's where the confusion comes in and makes it not enough.
But also in that, so if you find, and I'm saying this from a single standpoint, if you open your eyes and make intelligent choices and decisions, and you find that somebody that you love is not loving you in the proper way, then that might be something you need not get into. But on the flip side of that, in the marriage part, can you get out of that if you are not being loved properly? Is that wrong?
Not without giving half.
I think that that goes back to what the pastor was saying, you know, about love languages. You know, I think that you have to understand a person's background, you know, in order for you to just feel as if that person isn't loving you properly, you know. And then I think you also, that's a communication that a conversation you need to have with your significant other, because they might not know how to love you. If a person has been abused, you know, growing up in a relationship, or they never had a father in the home, they might not know what love is. You know, you might be the first person that person has encountered that loved them in that way. And people have been loved in different ways. And I even had an ex-boyfriend that said, we love differently. And I said, you know what? We do. And that's okay. I just need to understand the way that you love and respect it. And you need to do the same for me. And if we can't do that, then maybe we can't be together. But first, let's try it. You know, don't just throw it out throw it out. Let's try it first.
You make a valued point where
Thank you.
You want to definitely understand where the other person's coming from. But I do feel that our world has changed our concept of what love means, right? So is it enough? Do we need to add X, Y, and Z to make it what we think it should be? I don't know. And I think that's a question that's always going to be evolving, right? Like, do I need to do this, this, and this so that he can love me? You made another point that I said, oh, wow. It's important to know that we do come from different backgrounds, right? And I hear this a lot. Oh, the way that my parents are, the way that I was taught is not aligned with where we're going. And sometimes I think it's past relationships, not your home upbringing, but the different relationships that you have gone through that may affect how you love this next person. Does that make sense?
And we all bring our experiences to the table.
Correct.
That's with everything, right? So we all bring different experiences to the table. And so to me, sometimes I wonder if our grandparents and great grandparents really, because we talk about love more. I don't remember talking about love like this when I was growing up. You know what I mean? You just figure your parents were married. They said, I love you to each other. You know, you hear it, but we didn't talk about, oh, well, what is their love language, or what is this? And we didn't define it like we're defining it now. And then you grow up and you hear about, you know, the old deacon in the church who got 2 families.
Yeah. And our great our leaders.
You know, it's like, come on, you know. And so I think that, you know, I don't know. It's just like, to me, it needs to be more than just love. I need to like you also, right?
Okay.
We need to
Okay.
be friends. Okay. I can have all kind of passion and lust and whatever for you. I can see you and be like, but if I don't like you, or if we ain't friends, you just attractive. What I'm gonna do with that?
Right. I want to know what
that
means.
Right.
What'd you say?
That's why I always tell couples that you ought to be friends first. Friends won't hurt friends. Friends won't curse another friend out. If he's a true friend.
Well, yeah, because
if he's a true
friends, how many of us have them?
Okay,
that's right there. Friends still hurt you, but you have
I do understand
to understand that they're trying to help you too, right? So it's understanding how that friendship works and how that relationship works. So I mean, again, going back to understanding that person's love language, understanding that person's past experiences, and how it's going to help you two to work with each other.
Yeah, well, that's for me. I think it's so important for, and I missed the first part of your conversation, for couples to really come to the table in premarital counseling. You're coming to the table with a big duffel bag full of baggage. Both of you are coming with a lot of garbage. A lot of times we picked up some bad stuff from our family of origin. They didn't know what love is. They were just cohabitating, living and existing. But if you lay everything out on the table, lay it out such that you can talk about it. What do we do when we get to this point? How did your mom and your dad handle conflict? What was it? Did you run from it? All of those things need to go on the table because you need to know what you're getting into. If you don't, it won't be long lasting. It will be short lived because you have not laid it out on the table.
I got my church finger up. Because what I've learned, from the whole premarital and what you're saying, I agree wholeheartedly, except I think those questions need to be asked early on before you even get to the engagement phase. And that's why I know now with me and dating, only because I've dealt with, my childhood, even with my marriage, and divorce, I start asking those questions early on, because a lot of times when people get to the engagement phase, they're too embarrassed to just walk away. Yeah. And that's why you have so many marriages that fail, but something that Lisa said when she talked about the experiences, and bringing them to the table. I think that you definitely will have the experiences. But one of the things I think we need to be mindful of is when you go into a relationship, you have to realize that those were your experiences in that past relationship. And this is an entirely different person. So you don't want to incorporate those experiences into that relationship.
Yes.
About what did I learn from that relationship to make me a better person to go into this relationship. That's correct. What I wanted to point out with that. I think it looks like JT wanted to say something too, because I saw the finger moving.
Oh, JT?
Yeah.
It don't even matter no more. Because I was about to say something real crazy.
No, but you know what? It does, because something that you might say might help someone.
That's right.
It was further back when you said the deacon that had another family or whatever, and I believe it was D.L. Hughley that said somebody would have another family across town, and you didn't even know about it until the funeral. And that is crazy. That is real crazy to me.
But that is real.
That's when the public found out. But sometimes the wife and the children knew.
They already knew.
But see, now with social media, that could never happen because our parents didn't have social media back then.
No, they did not.
If they had, it would have been some busted leaders that had, double families.
Maybe,
but
maybe,
I said maybe. I agree with you.
because women felt there were times when women were not working, so I got to put up with whatever it is,
right,
to make sure, and so we are now. We are now in a time.
Well, I don't know.
I have heard the elders say, as long as he brought the groceries home, I was all right.
There are women. There are successful independent women that are taking care of men and that they know that are also with other women, but out of fear of loneliness, or not having a man, they're allowed that to go on. So
what do you guys think in terms of the wife and the other young lady? They knew about it, but because they love this person so much, going back to the word love, they accepted what was happening. They accepted what was happening because I know what was, this is what you're doing, but I love you so much.
There are people, there are people out there like that. I mean,
hey man, this is not a Tyler Perry movie.
I'm just bringing to light because a lot of times we look at the bad side, like, oh, they did this, or I think sometimes people accept that. You know what I mean? I know this is who you are, and I accept you for who you are. I love you for who you are, and I'm not gonna leave you based on what you have done. So that's like another level of, as we talked about, love.
Well, I can see where you're coming from. I mean, because there are a lot of women that only want to mess with married men, and it's acceptable. So,
but now is that love, Joketra?
No, of course not. But in their eyes, they really think, oh, he loves me, and oh, I love him. So in their eyes, the same as what France was saying, back then, because one of them had to be married to the man. So, the mistress was okay with it. So it's really the same thing, just in a different form.
I was thinking of Ray Charles, and him under his wife knew that something was going on, right? He knew something was going on. The mistress knew something was going on, but he continued to love his family and support his family, and they allowed it. And maybe it was because of who he is, but I do think there's a sense of, because I love you, I'm accepting you, even when you do something that is against the norm or against what society would consider to be the right thing to do. Does that make sense?
It does, but
it's hard to.
So I get that the women. We all have been where we love somebody and we just, it's chance after chance or however.
Right.
But to me, on the other side of that, male or female,
right?
How can you say you love me and you're doing what you're doing, knowing that it doesn't feel good to me? Like when you said he loved his wife and his family, but he also had all of what he was doing on the road. Right. How did he love his wife and his family? How was that love? But that's like a whole nother show, right?
Well, can I say this? I have, on that note, let me say this. When we talk about even the married women and the women back then, because that song, when a woman's fed up, there ain't nothing you can do.
You can do it.
I really think that the truth of the matter is, I think that when that happens, those women have insecurities that they haven't addressed within themselves. Because that's the only reason why, even to this day, that they would put up with something like that. Because even back in the day, when the lady was with Ray Charles, I want to say Kerry Washington, because I think she played his wife in the movie. Mm-hmm. But there were other Black men that were single and available that she could have been with. But whatever her insecurity was, and maybe she did love him, but there are women that love men and leave them after they've been cheating on them. So I think that same way we have insecurities now, there were those insecurities then. We're able to go and get help and address our insecurities more. Back then they didn't have that, because if they probably went to the pastor might have been trying to get with them. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't mean
That's
that.
Hey, come on
But also, I mean, what about we talking about the women? But what about the insecurities of the men? Like, what's going on with you that you got to do this multiple thing? You got to be insecure.
Go back now. Some men were told that was okay to have that was them showing that they were a man. So not all men were raised by godly fathers or ones that didn't know. Theirs was conquering. What does a man try? He's trying to get as many as he can.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that really was giving bad advice growing up. I was one of them.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we did talk about that one time, JT.
Yeah, we did.
But I also think, something else that you mentioned, I don't see now, and I really and truly wish that we would see more of for our African American community. We don't see a lot of public displays of affection. We don't see a lot of Black couples holding hands, and kissing. And, I think that more of our kids need to see that, and just how important it is for them to see that. Because when we do see it, we just look and, oh my God, we're so excited about it. But if it was just normal, we wouldn't act like that. That would be more acceptable.
So friends, hold your thought 1 second. Let's do this last shout out for our Black owned businesses. And I think JT is really going to like this one.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I like
so this is Sugar Rush. So this is my friend girl. When I tell you, Joketra, if you have not had a Sugar Rush drink, you missing out.
So Sugar Rush, that's the one over by FAMU, right?
No. It's a home business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So she takes orders and they deliver them. It's a family-owned business. But
have y'all seen her kitchen?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Hey, Joketra, if I drink it, trust me.
Okay.
But
dogs up in there.
when I tell you, oh my God, the drinks are so wonderful.
Okay, well, let me look her up on Facebook.
You will get hooked. They make the best honey drippers. For y'all that don't know what a honey dripper is, it's frozen cup. Put it in the freezer and make it a slushy ice. Oh my God, it's so wonderful.
So her Facebook is just Sugar Rush.
Sugar Rush, yep.
And she's
My
local.
mouth is watering right now.
Yep, she is local.
Sugar Rush.
So you gonna order one right now?
Well, I was saying my mouth is watering one.
Oh, I thought you was gonna order one right now. I was getting ready to say, let me give you my address.
And she does all kinds of flavors. So if you go on her page and you don't see a flavor that you like I have made special requests. Like I like pineapple, banana, and strawberry mixed together. And she took care of it. And oh my goodness, it was delicious. And so my sister just got a pina colada one. It was good.
I have never heard of her, and I still can't find her on Facebook.
And that's here in town.
Yep, here in town.
Wow.
So she doesn't have a storefront. It's just out of her home.
Yeah, it's just a home business for now. But trust me, the way it's growing, she'll be in a building soon.
Her email.
Okay, is it pink? Is it pink?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the two R's. It's an R and upside down and a regular R right side up.
Yes, I found it.
Yeah.
She
does waters. She does teas. She does lemonade. She does Arnold Palmer.
Lemonade is the die for.
Yeah, really, really good. So shout out to Sugar Rush, one of my favorite drinks now. So again, if you're watching us and we can show you some love this month with your Black-owned business, reach out to us at Kitchen Talk CTC. gmail.com. We'd love to show you some love this month because that's what we're doing. And we are on here with this sizzling conversation with Pastor Danny Whitfield, my EP, and Miss
Hey,
Joketra
Pastor
Horne.
Whitfield.
Well, you gotta say my name the way you said his name, because I'm
Miss
feeling a little some
Joketra
kind of way.
Horne, that's my girl.
Yeah.
My Girl Scout girl. I love it. I love it. I love it. I cannot wait till we can get back in the kitchen for real. But I don't know when that's gonna be. So I'm appreciative of this platform right here. JT and France always hanging out with me. I appreciate them so much. We've been doing this. Oh my God, it's 5 years now, guys. Like
Oh wow.
yeah. Yeah.
So y'all gotta have an anniversary party.
When we can party, we will.
Why am I just hearing of this?
I don't know.
Neither.
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, we've been putting it out there.
I've seen a couple of your shows.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I love the concept.
yeah, we did FAMU TV 20 for 2 seasons, and then we did Fox 49 for 1 season, and then we got hit by a pandemic, and so now we're a virtual weekly show.
Okay.
So yeah, so
You gotta do what it do.
We do, and I'm like so appreciative of these guys. Like, nah, we ain't doing that. We ain't spending every week with you. But they was like, okay, let's do it. Let's get it done. I'm like, thank you.
So your shows are typically an hour.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We do. Pre-COVID we were 30 minutes on television, and then when we moved to this platform, we moved to an hour. And then France will get to talking and take us to an hour and 15 minutes.
All right now. Well, you know what? It's so interesting because when you talk about love and relationships, I've noticed that everybody is talking about it. You know what I mean? So it can, once you start, you can't go there because there's so many different directions that you can go in when you talk about it. Because when you talked about, what's love got to do with it, and I said everything. At the end of the day, everybody wants to be loved. Yeah. You know what I mean? They want to feel it. If you've really felt love, you want to have that feeling because that's a good feeling. So yeah, you can talk about it forever.
Yeah. And I think too, the other thing that plays into it is, and what I like to see is if I'm dating somebody, I want to see how they interact with their friends. I want to know how you treat your people. I need to know how you treat your mama. I need to know how you treat your daddy, how you treat your family. Because it to me, that's part of when we were talking, friends, about the work. That's part of the work. I need to see. You know what? I need to see. That's why I hate the pandemic. I need to see how you treat a server at a restaurant.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say that all of that matters. And that's one reason. Look, that was one reason I tell you when you talk about you have to like a person. When my ex-husband and I were married, and I'm real transparent. When we were married, we ended up owning 2 McDonald's in Selma, Alabama. And the final straw on me saying I got to get the heck out of here was how he treated our employees. I used to look at him and see and just watch how he would talk to them. And it just would make me cringe because I was like, you feel like you're better than them because you're the owner, but you don't understand these people are the ones that's helping you drive that Range Rover, and live in that house that you live in. And I just was like, I can't do it no more because that said a whole lot about his character. Mm-hmm. So it's very important to observe how people treat other people, and especially when they don't know that you're even watching them. I like to catch you on my dates. I like to catch them when they don't think I'm watching. And I'm like, yeah, that's really the real you.
I think I want to, to me, that's the biggest thing that we need to be mindful of is Black love, right? You were saying it earlier. Oh, it's good to see the 2 couples together and we need to show it more. We had an age where we used to see it in our magazines and on TV all the time, right? From a Cosby Show all the way up to
Family Matters.
We used to see it in our magazines, Essence Magazine, Jet Magazine, Couple of the Week. I think we need to be mindful of what we're portraying to other people when we say that we're a couple, that we're together, that we are married, because that love will be something that somebody's looking at to say, that's what I want, right? If they don't know it from home, even if they know it from home, they'll recognize it and say, you know what? That's what I want. So on a higher note, it's important for us to show that Black love, to show that love that we have for each other, but being an example for each other so that our next generation can say, you know what, we'll take the baton from here and we'll share the love,
Yeah, and you got to be able to even beyond just seeing it, it's an energy, it's an energy that's in the room. It's an energy between the couples. I have stood between, you on one side and somebody on the other, and it's like you could tell they ain't said nothing. They just looked at each other, and it's like, oh, okay, whatever. It's not just a lip service, You could tell when somebody get up to the podium and acknowledge their significant other, if it's just a routine or if that's for real, they babe. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole energy that I think that is very, very important. And it comes from real and true, to me, like and love. Like I can love you and just not want to be around you. Like, like family. Whatever. Yeah. I love you, but we ain't got to be in this room right here together all the time. I'm gonna do what I do for you or whatever. But to me, in marriage and what I'm looking for in my singleness and moving into marriage, I need to be able to still want to be in the room with you. I need to be able to love and like you.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
Don't want to be one of them. But
it's the Barack. Oh, go ahead.
What you say, JT?
Said you don't want to be one of them couples that's laying in the bed next to each other, and you wake up every morning and he be like, "Damn, this chick ain't dead yet." Damn. I mean, dang.
He's still here.
I thought today was gonna be the day, Lord.
Hey. we could cook a sweet potato pie and take care of that.
No. Yeah. But what you're saying is so true. It's kind of like it's the Barack and Michelle type love, when you feel that genuineness, and when you talk about, the whole energy aspect, because when you were saying earlier about our parents, we didn't talk about love that much. I know in my family we didn't, but when I raised my kids and being around my parents and they saw me tell my kids that I love you, then they started saying it. So that's why I was like, it's just amazing how even at their age, at 70 something, and here I am close to 50, but they didn't tell me when I was a kid, but that's what they say before. I love you.
Yeah. And our parents hid a lot of things from us. Like, I'm a product, my biological father and my mother divorced when we were young. But for us, we never saw them argue. We never, never saw. Good. So it was like, And then my dad came. Well, I call him my dad by the world standard. He would be my stepdad, but he raised me, and I saw a little more of, okay, he like her or he love her. I could see that a little more as I was growing up, and then of course, they're not together. But the thing is. It's like when you see it, you can. It's two things you can learn from people: what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
And so I could take pieces of all of that and say, okay, let me put together what I think it is, and then find a person, and we find that middle ground and work that plan out, and not necessarily pattern it after anyone, but figure out what works for us.
Right.
Yeah. I think when we look at marriage was the first institution that God established. Mm-hmm. He established it such that we are, those of us who are married and those who are trying to get there, that we are a reflection of him and his love for us, with all of our shortcomings, with all of our flaws, that we can be, like my sister say, transparent, first of all, with each other. Folk can tell what's phony, and folk can tell what's for real.
That's right. That's right.
And so as we are joined together, our job is to be a reflection that folk will say, wow, that's something unique about that couple there. They are always expressing love. That if you were kicking your wife to sleep behind the stage, behind the scenes, and then you coming out like, oh, Father God, I thank you for, you know what I'm saying? After a while, that's going to get old, and folk going to see through it. And they're going to know that it's not unique. Yeah. And so you got to, the thing about I can love you, but I not like you.
But I think also too, that's a very good point that you brought out. I think we also forget that God created us from man,
That's right.
And to be a helpmate,
That's right.
So that's the part that I think a lot of us forget too, and where he created us from. It didn't come from up here. It came from the rib. Yeah. So I think that we kind of need to go back to the basics and get a real good understanding of all of that to help us really understand, love and relationships and what's intended in marriage.
And I think the time that we're living in now is so wonderful because there are so many people that actually talk about it. We communicate better, to me, in my opinion. But in some ways we almost have to, because we have social media. So you if you got a Facebook, Instagram, or whatever page, you're gonna have to be transparent with your mate, because otherwise
well, but you have to be careful too, though.
Somebody gonna know. It's just it's so much. It's so much.
Yeah,
so I would rather you tell me what's going on than I see it or hear it or find out from somebody else.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Yeah. Because I was going to say, with social media, you have to be so careful, because people will put out there what they want you to think. You know what I mean? And be living a total lie, because there are a lot of married couples that you would think they happy as all get out. And then, a year later or 6 months later, they getting a divorce. And you also got to be careful who you receive information from, because everybody that's talking about love and relationships and marriage everybody don't know.
That's right. That's right. You got to be careful who you receive that information from. Don't take it from everybody. If most times when couples are in conflict and they're looking for somebody to be listening to them, just listen. Shut your mouth. Don't say nothing.
Nothing. That's it. Hey, Pastor, you know what?
Any advice, shut your mouth and listen. All they need is someone to unload. Right. Now, if you can give them anything, if it doesn't come from the word of God, hold it, put it in your pocket, and sit on it.
Yeah.
Just shut your mouth. Don't say nothing.
Yeah. and even if it does come from the word of God, it might not be your word to give.
That's true. I like that. I like that too.
It might not be your word to give. Yes. Just listen. Because you're not in that situation.
Yeah.
You can say, oh, I know how you feel. No, you don't.
You don't.
Even if you've been through something similar, it's still not the same thing. Y'all not the same people. So I agree with you on that one. Shut your mouth, just listen. I like that one.
That's it.
But see, the thing about me is I'm one of those type of people that if I know what's really going on and you sitting there, you trying to tell me something, it's gonna be like Charlie Brown's mama. Wah 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 wah. I'm like, dude, like, why would I even listen to you? Like, I not like belittling somebody or anything, but I'm just like, no, nah, not from you. Maybe from them, but not from you. So you creeping out of somebody's house.
Yeah.
Nah.
Now, let me say this to all of you. Happy Valentine's Day. I wish that you guys enjoyed the Day of Love, but more importantly, take it throughout the year and not just that one day. That's my only thing with Valentine's Day. We don't gotta wait till the February 14th to love each other. We can love on each other throughout the year and encourage each other throughout the year. So,
amen.
That's my word.
Amen.
We'd already reached the 10 o'clock hour.
That's because France be doing all that talking. I'm telling you, just be running this.
That probably was me. I think I talk more than anybody. I'm sorry.
You good?
Oh my goodness. I already know I'm a talker. So listen, thank you so much, Joketra and my EP. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. Such a great conversation. You guys have to come back and we can dig into this a little bit even more. I mean, there's so much to unpack that can be unpacked from both perspectives, from single and from married, from a marriage standpoint. And I think that it's a conversation kind of like the voting and our responsibility in the voting that we talk about often. This is another conversation that can just continue and that just evolves, right? So
that's right.
So to me, to say this is, I think love is definitely a foundation, right? And not to me, not just for marriage, or if you're trying to find it as a single person. I think if you love from a human being standpoint, life would be so much greater and so much better if all of us find that true love for just human beings.
Well, that's one of our commandments. You got to remember. That's one of the commandments.
Yeah. So find love for yourself, and find love for your neighbor, and definitely love for God. We are not a religious show, but I am all the way Jesus to the end. So I do not apologize for that at all.
That's right.
At all. Not even a little bit. I will die for him. Yes.
Amen.
So I have a question real quick.
Yes,
Can this be shared on Facebook?
What's that?
The show.
Yes.
Oh, once we close out, it stays up.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're streaming right now to Facebook and our YouTube page.
Okay. Got it.
So yeah, you can send people to our Facebook. You can send them to our YouTube. It's Kitchen Talk CTC on all of our social media platforms. My engineer is on vacate tonight, so he would have put this up for us.
Good job. Yeah, you were the standing engineer.
I've been engineering and talking at the same time, and I appreciate him when he here. So much.
You did good. Girl power.
Thank you, girl power. Yes. Who run the world?
Girls.
Yeah.
Humans.
What's that?
You better remember what James Brown said.
It's mine.
We know it's a man's world, JT, but y'all wouldn't be able to live in it without us. I like that.
Hey, you right about that. You right about that.
See? I mean, and if we gotta take it back to the Bible. Adam was here. God said he can't be here by himself. He needs some help. Yeah. And ta-da!
That would have been a good take me out song.
I know, right?
Man's world.
It's a man's world. So thank you guys so much for hanging out with us on tonight. We really appreciate it. We will be right back here next Thursday at 9 o'clock for Kitchen Talk CTC.
Conversations
that cook.
Good, they cook. All right. Good night, guys.
Thank you, guys. I enjoyed it.
Good night.
Enjoyed you.